Hello, I'm here. I'm host Eric. Waiting for names here. Someone's here. I'm not calling them famous people because they haven't written anything in the chat. I have a video put up recently. It says to be a famous person, all you have to do is say something in the chat. But so I'll implement that rule, that arbitrary rule, for a little while. See how that goes. You never know, that would be fine. Alright, well, I want to talk about objectivity. This notion of objectivity and how we make these distinctions between that which is more real and that which is less real. That which is more tangible, that which is less tangible. I got in a good argument with Bo. B-E-A-U. Bo. Famous person, Bo, over this very issue of objectivity and subjectivity. He wants to determine that there is something known as objectivity, that there are things that are objective, and then simultaneously to deny that status to moral truths. To me, that's where I want to fight you, right? That's where I want to fight about. Because my position is basically we have an objective moral calculus already in place. And it just requires the courage to use it. So, in that argument, Bo was pretty forward in his argumentation. Not so much like an INTP, more like an ENTP. But he self-identified as an INTP. I would say that he shifted ground. He likes his terms undefined, but I was very impressed. He threw down well. He was you know what? He was an INTP for sure. Now that I think about it, even though he was excitable like an ENTP, a little bit more excitable than a normal INTP maybe, which is to say, he wasn't afraid to talk over me as I was talking over him, that kind of stuff. We were having crossfire stuff going on. He wasn't afraid to throw down with that. But he was doing watery ground shift, the normal INTP thing that they like to do. They don't like to commit to things. But what he did commit to, though, was a distinction between objectivity and subjectivity, a claim that objectivity mattered, and a claim that it wasn't a status to be afforded to moral imperatives. Well, I strongly disagree with that, and I want to go into that a little bit as to why. First of all, we spend a lot of energy drawing these distinctions between objective, subjective, that we don't even understand what we mean by it. We just mean some things are more real than others. So, that's a weird claim to make in the first place. Why are we differentiating on this quality of realness? Why are we differentiating between things that are, well, that's just your opinion about it, but that's the way it actually is, right? So, okay. The answer to the first question is, why are we doing that? Well, because we can't have an entirely arbitrary reality in which if I say this is a duck, it's a duck, even though it's obviously a pack of cigarettes. Oh, okay. I mean, but what makes reality entirely arbitrary if I say gonna enjoy this cigarette. Let's say I am enjoying the cigarette. Yeah, I am enjoying the cigarette. No. Here's the thing. You might say, well, he's smoking. He doesn't appear to be experiencing any discomfort. He's saying the words. I'm enjoying this cigarette right now. Therefore, objectively, we can conclude he's enjoying the cigarette, even if it's a subjective position he's voicing. At least we can conclude that it's more objectively true than if we were to say he's poking himself in the eye with a cigarette. But here's the problem. I didn't say that sentence because I was enjoying the cigarette. I said it as an example of a sentence I might say. That's one of the ways in which I say sentences, is to use them as examples for things like this. In fact, I probably do that quite often. Am I really enjoying this cigarette? I guess so. But, I mean, the core issue here is, what's my intention when I say that? If I'm just sharing a moment from my life with you because, let's say, I weren't using it as an example. Let's say I had just gotten off a plane and I hadn't had a cigarette in a while. And I was standing outside and I was like, oh man, I am really loving this cigarette. That would be me doing a little bit of bonding thing with the person standing next to me. It would not be informational in any sense. I wouldn't say that to him because he needs to know that, or because I expect him to do anything with that information. I just say it because it's a conversation starter, or just being friendly, or I don't know. I don't know why I say that, but I totally would imagine myself doing it. It's extroverted feeling stuff, I guess. A lot of people enjoy and get juice out of shared positive moments with strangers, and I certainly do. When I go to a store or something, I like to engage with the clerk or whatever if the circumstances are appropriate. If it's crowded or something, then I just move right through the line. But what I mean by engage, I just mean have a couple little jokes or something. Ask them about something. Just generally talk to them. Treat them like a human being, for one thing. Candace was obsessed about that, and I picked up that kind of language. I think I always did. I think I instinctually treat everybody the same. But she'd freak out if she sees some snotty person being snotty with somebody. I'm sometimes snotty, but I'm not snotty with people. What I am is tired of waiting. Whatever it is, probably I'm tired of waiting. So, what did I start on this topic with? Oh yeah, objectivity, subjectivity stuff. Is that what it is? I'm tired. The point is, the distinction is arbitrary. Whether or not a given statement, first of all, we use the word objective to refer to statements. It's a descriptor for statements. But the objective truth of a statement is something that is dependent upon the intention of the person saying it. If I say something and I intend it a certain way, and you get my intention, it doesn't matter what the words are, it's going to be confirmed as true by both parties. Whether it's actually true or not is, it's another matter. But the point is, that's what I'm saying. Objectivity, subjectivity is not a good criterion to evaluate something on because it's not well defined at all. I think a better criterion would be to say consistency with blah, and I would go with intention. So if your words are deemed to be consistent with your intention, then you can claim to yourself, you can say to yourself, well, I am not lying, even if I am mistaken. The distinction is made. And it's considered important. It's considered the only real determiner of whether somebody's telling the truth or lying. I might say, I can find ways to say sentences that are technically correct but intended to deceive the generally the consensus would be, well, that's not correct. That's not true then. Hello, famous person Unify.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to end this video and start another one.